Hello viewers, in today's session we are going to discuss another interesting problem from domain of functions, and in this class we are going to find out the domain of this function f of x, which is square root of cot inverse 2x minus 1 divided by 5 root 3 minus pi by 3, right? So here in order to find out the domain of this function, we'll make use of the principal value branch of cot inverse function, right? And from inverse trigonometric functions we know that cot inverse theta, it belongs to this interval that is 0 to pi, where this theta belongs to the set of real numbers, right? So here we'll make use of this concept to find out the domain of this function f of x. So here we have the real number line, and here we have 0 to pi, and this is an open interval. So here we have 0 and here we have pi, right? Okay, so now see, here we have a square root function. So the first condition to get the domain of this function is that this entire term which is inside the square root function should be greater than or equal to 0. So we must have cot inverse 2x minus 1 divided by 5 root 3 minus pi by 3 must be greater than or equal to 0. So this term has to be positive, right? Because we cannot have a negative number inside the square root sign, because in that case the number becomes a complex number. But here we are dealing with only the real numbers. So now let us take this term, that is 2x minus 1 over 5 root 3 equal to theta, so that we have cot inverse theta minus pi by 3 is greater than or equal to 0. So now we can write cot inverse theta is greater than or equal to pi over 3. So taking minus pi by 3 to the right hand side. Now this inequality suggests that cot inverse theta should be greater than or equal to pi by 3. Now between 0 and pi we have here pi by 3. So now this pi by 3 splits this interval into two sub intervals, that is from 0 to pi by 3, and here we have pi by 3 to pi, right? And here we can now write cot inverse theta greater than or equal to pi by 3. So we have to consider only this interval, that is from pi by 3 to pi, right? And remember, cot inverse theta cannot go beyond pi. So we can now here modify this inequality by writing here cot inverse theta should be greater than or equal to pi by 3 but less than pi, right? So we have to consider only this interval. We cannot take this interval that is from 0 to pi by 3, because here uh, cot inverse theta is greater than pi by 3 or equal to pi by 3. So now we have to solve this inequality. So now let us take the cot of all these three quantities. So here we have cot pi by 3, and here we have cot inverse theta, and here we have cot pi, right? And we know that the cot function is a decreasing function, so the direction of the inequality it gets reversed, right? So here taking the cot of all these three quantities and reversing the direction of the inequalities, because cot function is a decreasing function, right? And from trigonometry we know that cot pi by 3 is cot 60 degrees, that is equal to 1 over root 3. So now here we have cot pi, and from the graph of cot theta, we can easily see that cot theta tends to minus infinity when theta tends to pi, right? So cot pi, it tends to minus infinity, right? Okay, so now cot pi by 3 is 1 over root 3, and here we have cot inverse theta, that is simply a theta, because we know that cot inverse theta is equal to theta, and here cot pi, it tends to minus infinity, right? So here we have minus infinity. So we can now write this inequality as theta greater than minus infinity and less than or equal to 1 over root 3. So now let us substitute the value of theta in this inequality. So we have minus infinity, then we have 2x minus 1 over 5 root 3, and here we have a 1 over root 3. So now let us multiply throughout by 5 root 3. So multiplying negative infinity with 5 root 3, it gives minus infinity, and here 5 root 3 and 5 root 3 get cancelled, and here we have root 3 and root 3 get cancelled, so we have 5 times 1, that is 5. Now let us add 1 throughout. So adding 1 to minus infinity, it gives us minus infinity. Here 1 and minus 1 get cancelled, and here we have 5 plus 1, 6. Now let us divide throughout by 2. So dividing minus infinity with 2 will get simply minus infinity. Here 2 and 2 get cancelled, and here we have 3, right? So viewers, the domain of this function is given by this interval, that is x belonging to the interval minus infinity to 3, and here 3 is included, right? So here if we have the real number line, then here we have 3. So the domain of this function is from minus infinity to 3. So this is the domain of this function f of x, including this number x is equal to 3. So this is how by making use of these concepts, we can easily find out the domain of functions of these kinds. And here we must remember that when we have cot inverse theta greater than or equal to pi by 3, then we cannot take this interval, because from 0 to pi by 3, we have all the numbers which are less than pi by 3, right? So we have to take this interval, that is from pi by 3 to pi.